Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today it is time for us to look at my Pan That palette for 2018 after 11 months of usage. I can't believe we're officially in the last month of using this palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you where my palette was after 10 months of usage. And this is what my palette looks like after 11 months of usage. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have managed to finish up blush since the last update. It did not take me very long to use it up, and upon finishing it, I immediately moved over to predominantly using Opal. I felt that Opal was the color that I wanted to focus on a lot for the particular month, and I hit really decent pan on it. What I find about Opal is that, much like a lot of the other shimmers in here, it's not super hard pressed in there, so it's really easy to get a lot of product on your brush and build up color really fast. Unlike the mattes, which are really hardly pressed in here and you don't need a lot of color to get much payoff, they're a lot harder to get to. So I was able to get pan on this really fast and make the pan pretty noticeable, but I will say it's going to be pretty hard to get some of the pan used on the sides because it's not as easy to pick up product with the way the shadow is. I also was predominantly using Sienna when I was using the Opal shade, and so because of that, I have a lot of really heavy usage in this. I didn't really feel like playing around with other colors. I was just looking for a lot of easy go-to looks. I did also make a big dent on Smoky Topaz. I had like a whole section up in here that I used up. I definitely will say that it was really easy to use up and didn't have much of an issue. And then I also spent some time working with Wisteria. I really love this color. It's one of my favorite crease shades to have. And then I also decided to play around with Orchid. I was using this mostly as a crease shade as well, and I was surprised I had any pan on it, but I noticed with Orchid there's a lot of kickback, and it does take me a little bit longer than with the other darker crease shades to get a nice buildup of color on there. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. And then I was also really surprised to hit the tiniest little bit of pan in black. I don't use black eyeshadow to like do a smoky eye. It doesn't really work for me. It's too harsh, I think, on my skin tone. But whenever I use a pencil eyeliner, I always set it with powder product. And so I decided to pull in the black shade. So I basically have been using a pencil for the entire month, and I basically burnt. And I just burrowed a hole down to the very bottom. Like I said, it's a really small amount of pan, but it is pan nonetheless. For the Orchid and Wisteria looks, I'm really loving the Super Shock shadow from ColourPop in the shade Acorn. It's one of the first ones I ever bought. I do have a little bit of pan showing on it. I feel like it's deceptive though, because the product kind of gets pushed around when you're using it. You're not just like burrowing down when you use it, but I like this color a lot. I've had it for a couple of years, I think, and it hasn't dried out on me. I make sure it's really nice and tight. So I am enjoying that as a good lid color for a lot of the crease shades in here. And then as always, I have been using the Too Faced Matte Eye Palette for the cream. I don't know if you're gonna notice the significant dip because of the lighting. I'll try to like tilt it for you to see. But I do have a pretty healthy like dip happening in there. I tried to like press my nail in a little bit to see if I was close to the pan, but it doesn't seem like I am. I'm really not sure if another month's worth of use will get me to show any pan, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because I don't love that I have a bunch of palettes that have no crease shades, because now I have to travel with two palettes or find a palette in my collection that has a crease shade in it, because I'm just so dependent on having these cream shades. So it is at least good value for your money if you get this palette, because it'll take you a really long time to hit any pan. Thinking ahead for next month, I obviously would love to have the whole palette used up, but I really would like to get Opal finished up completely. If I could get Smoky Topaz or Sienna used used up, that would be really awesome. But aside from those, I don't think that I will have any new pan showing. Like I said, I was really surprised to have Orchid in black. I was only expecting to get pan on opal, so there's some pleasant surprises. I don't think I would get Wisteria or Orchid used up in the next month, but I am still enjoying this palette. I go through a lot of different like look phases where sometimes I'm really focused on like these 4 up here. Other times I'm focused more on the ones down here. So I just really enjoyed this, and I am pleasantly surprised with how much progress I actually have achieved over the course of this year. So we will see what the end of 2018 brings for me, but I appreciate you spending some of your day with me, and I'd love to hear any of your thoughts on this palette down below in the comments. I'll talk to you in my next video real soon. Bye.